That is the Diamonator, folks. The one and only Leo Jaymz Diamonator. Get them while they're hot, guys. Get them while they're hot. I don't know if you watched my video on Monday, but if you did, you know what I said. If maybe you didn't watch the video to the end. The Diamonator here, made by Leo Jaymz. He is not making any more Diamonators. No more Diamonators, okay? So once the current crop of Diamonators are sold out on eBay, the ones that are there right now, once those are gone, that's it. No more Diamonators. So he's not going to be making any more. Hold on a second. Got to take a drink, guys. I see a lot of people in the chat. I just want to say hello to everybody that's in there. I'm not going to go through and read all the names. And hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's awesome to see everybody here on a Wednesday night joining me, your bald shredder. So a lot to talk about with the NAMM show. It was a pretty fun event, pretty cool. Had a good time as usual. I got a bunch of pictures to show you guys and some stories to tell and various things. Hold on, guys. I need to finish setting one thing up here. Hang on. I forgot to get my pictures ready. It's just going to take me a second. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Oh, now what's going on with my internet here? Hang on one second, guys. I did make some good connections. I came home with 3 guitars, guys. 3 guitars that you will eventually see. One of them I will show you tonight. The other 2, we're going to leave it up to a little bit of mystery. Now, hang on, guys. And actually, I'm going to be showing you guys the coolest one tonight. Hold on. Hold on. Alrighty. Okay. I think we are all set. Had to take care of a little business there. All right, so first of all, it was a great time. I met some really cool people. I know we got Dave in the chat, 6-string Stanger. I'm going to show you a picture that I took with Dave. So a lot of you guys already saw one of the pictures that I took with Dave where I got him to put his beard on my head. You might have seen it on YouTube. I posted it as like a post on YouTube. I also put it in Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen there. It was a funny picture. It was my idea. Dave was a little like, I don't know. And I'm like, come on, man. He's like, oh, okay. And he did it. So you check it out, Dave. Look, it's sprouting. My hair's growing back because Dave rubbed his beard on my head. And it even spread to my face. See? Yeah. So, yeah. It was a successful hair transfer. So thanks, Dave. All right. And we got Rod and we got Shred and Shine Guitar Works. By the way, I also met Shred and Shine Guitar Works at the NAMM show for the first time. AKA Gene. And he used to be called New Mexico Saint, but he changed his YouTube name. So we met up for the first time. I'll show you a picture of that as well. And just lots and lots of cool stuff. So I got my notes over here, so I make sure I talk about everything that I wanted to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. I think, let's see, picture number 1. Oh yeah, Fujigen. All right, so you guys might remember me talking about Fujigen from last year. I visited their booth and talked to them a little bit and got their card and sent them an email. And they seemed like they were like all gung-ho about sending me a guitar to do a review. Well, it never happened throughout the year. And I talked to them again a little bit this year, and they were nice. And, you know, I think it was the same guys, some of the same guys that I saw last year. They don't have any U.S. distribution. There is nowhere for you to buy one of their guitars here in the United States. You have to buy it. You know, they're located in Japan. So you buy it, and then they're going to ship it to you from Japan. So it's like they're not really set up very well for selling guitars in the U.S. So I don't know if anything's ever going to come from that. You know, who knows? But I'm kind of like not really holding my breath on that one anymore. But nice guitars and nice guys. And I was able to use a little bit of Japanese when I talked to them. All right. So this here, guys, this is the CEO of Musiclily. So you've heard me talking about Musiclily all the time, you know, using their pickups, their locking tuners, all kinds of things from Musiclily, bridge, various things. And he was there last year, but I wasn't able to find him last year. So this year, I tracked him down. Actually, we made a plan to meet up before we even got to the NAMM show. So I knew where to meet him and at what time when I got there on Friday. So that's Jerry Gao. Really nice guy, good guy. We talked for a while and just talked about some ideas about what he's going to do with the company and stuff. So really great guy. That was really nice meeting Jerry after using, you know, so much of their stuff over the past couple of years. Alrighty, so here we have our first picture from the IYV booth. Okay, notice the red guitar in the corner, in the left-hand corner. You notice how there's like some lines in the wood? So it's a headless guitar. I'm sorry I don't have a better picture to show you guys today. You'll see it when I do a pulled back shot in a second. So it's got like a Telecaster shape, but the sides come off, and then it looks like a Steinberger headless guitar. You see the lines? You can see how it's going to look like a Steinberger, right? Yeah, there's some like bolts in the back. You loosen the bolts, and the sides come off, and then you've got like a smaller headless guitar. Not for everybody, but I thought that was kind of cool. And you can see they have several headless guitars. And then look at the one in the back with the, right in the middle, with the gray and the kind of like the white stripe going across it. That's basically a copy of a Uli John Roth guitar, if you know who that is. The guy that was in the Scorpions a million years ago. So that's a copy of his design. And then they've got some other, you know, some basses and stuff, various stuff. Here's another shot. You can see a very colorful one there with the paint splatter. And another one of the Uli John Roth, kind of like, well, that one's a headless version over there. And some really interesting stuff. So IYV always brings like just all custom stuff. It's not their production stuff that you can buy on Amazon. It's just like all these kind of one-off custom guitars. And, you know, I like some of them and maybe I don't like some of them, but they're always interesting at least. And here's a more of a full shot of the booth. You can see the sign up there. And I talked to the two ladies that are there from IYV that I've met the past few years. I believe it's the wife of the owner and the daughter of the owner. And so we talked for a little bit and I got some information and they let me take one of the guitars home. If you had to guess, guys, which one do you think I was able to take home? Well, if you're guessing the splatter paint one, you guessed right. Because I was, that, for those of you that don't know, that's a copy of a Phil Collen guitar from Def Leppard. He did a Jackson PC1 that looks very similar to that. And they were definitely copying that. So I was telling her about it, and she's like, okay, you can take that one. I was like, oh, cool, awesome. So I have that to do in a video. That'll be in March, because their factory is on vacation until like sometime in March, or they will be on vacation, holiday, I should say. Alrighty, what else? Whoa, there it is. There's the man. There's the man. It's not the picture with the beard on my head, because since I already posted that one, I wanted to show a different picture. Let me take a drink of my tea, guys. So, it was absolutely fantastic meeting Dave in person for the first time. I got to tell you guys, I don't mind telling you. I don't mind saying it. I was kind of starstruck. I really was. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the 6-string Stanger. I'm like, a little bit tongue-tied. And he was like, it's okay, young man. Just settle down. I know. I'm used to this. He's like, just catch your breath. All right. You want to take a picture with me? All right. Sure. Yeah. So he was, very accommodating. And once I calmed down a little bit, we took a couple of photos and I was like, thank you, Mr. Stanger. It's an honor to meet you. So that was, yeah, there it is again. And he was there with his son. So his son is the one that took the picture for us. And if you can believe it, his son has an even bigger beard than he does. Can you believe that? I mean, Dave's beard is crazy enough, but the son's beard is just like, whoa, off the charts. And his son is like 7 feet tall. So he was a little bit intimidating. I almost didn't want to ask him to take the picture because I thought he was going to like punch me or something. I'm kidding. He was very nice, but very tall and has a big beard for sure. All right. So that was great. And unfortunately, I only ran into Dave that one time because I wasn't there on Thursday. Dave was there on Thursday with his son. I didn't go on Thursday. So Friday was my first day and we only ran into each other one time. And then Dave wasn't able to go on Saturday because he had to go home early, a day early. So he went home Saturday morning instead of Sunday because of all that bad weather that was going on, right? So he missed Saturday, unfortunately. But the good news is he got home safe and sound, and that's the most important thing. So, Dave, I don't know if you're going to NAMM next year. You probably haven't decided yet, but if you do, for sure, we got to meet up and maybe hang out a little bit longer than we did this year. That would be cool for sure. All right, what's next? Okay, here's a shot of some of the Ibanez guitars. And you can see it's a bunch of their like signature models. You got Joe Satriani, two Joe Satriani guitars. Check out that Steve Vai guitar. Look at that with the gold like design on it. It looks really cool in person. I didn't take a close-up shot. And then they got the Paul Gilbert Fireman right there, and then Andy Timmons and Nilly Brosh with her signature guitar. So Ibanez had a ton of guitars. That's the only picture I took of Ibanez. If you want to see more Ibanez stuff, I'm sure that's like all over YouTube. Alrighty. I don't even remember what the name of this company was. And I can't really see it on the headstock. I just took a picture of these because I was like, whoa, that's really cool looking. It reminds me of the Partridge Family. It makes me think of the Partridge Family bus. Remember that? And I love that show, by the way. These guitars were in this sort of middle section that they call the boutique builders. So like all these builders have like a very small display, you know, instead of having like their own booth, it's like sort of all these boutique builders with, you know, really like crazy, very nice custom guitars. And this was one of them. And then here's another one. I forget where those were made. I read it on the side. I think they were made not in the USA. But look at that first one. I swear I thought that was Angelina Jolie on the guitar, but it probably isn't. But who knows? It might be. But I mean, just think about the amount of work that went into that. That's not like a picture. I think it's like little pieces of something. I don't know. But they all look just amazing, right? Okay, Shred and Shine will know because he spent a lot more time in that boutique area than I did. So he says those are Cower, if that's how you say it. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. The Partridge Family guitars. I don't know what else to call them. I thought they looked great, though. And you can see the green one is sold here. I don't know what the price on it was, but I can guarantee you it wasn't cheap. And this was... if you look in the reflection there, you can see yours truly standing there taking a picture. This was just an interesting thing. It's on like a little, it's going around in a circle, guys. So I had to stand there and wait for it to spin around until it was facing me, and then I took a picture. And it's got like a Coca-Cola can, and I think there's like an iPhone under there and some seashells, and I don't know what else. It looks like there's money printed on the fretboard. Just a crazy looking guitar. And like I said, they've got these insane customs in the boutique area. Alrighty, on to the next picture. Hey, who's that? Well, that would be me. So funny story to tell you about when I went to Lekato. You guys know I did that Lekato Strat review like pretty recently. And I told you like how good it was, how surprisingly good it was, right? I'm going to put it back on me so you can see me talking. Wait, which picture am I on? 11. Okay. Anyway, so before the NAMM show, I'm getting an email from the girl that I had been emailing with. You know, we're going to send you the guitar. We did the review. And then she's asking me, are you going to the NAMM show? I'm like, yes, I'm going to the NAMM show. Make sure you go to the Lekato booth. Visit us at the Lekato booth. Okay, great. I will visit you. So I go to the Lekato booth. There's two guys there. And guess what? They had no idea who I was. I'm like, she told me repeatedly to come visit your booth, and you guys don't even know me? And I literally had to grab my phone, and I pulled up the Lekato guitar review, and I'm like, look, that's me right there. And the guy was like, oh, okay. I don't know if he knew me. And I was like, did you watch my video? And he hesitated. He was like, and I go, that means no. And I was like, okay, well, anyway, guys, I did a video on the guitar. Plus, I've done a bunch of other Lekato videos a while back on like guitar straps and wireless and things like that. But anyway, if we go back to the picture, guys, they were very cool. They were, yeah, once they knew who I was, I guess, I don't know, but they were very, very nice guys. They had a very small booth with the 4 guitars you see there, and maybe there was one other, I think, and that was about it. And then they had some pedals and stuff. And they said, you can take one of these guitars home at the end of the show. And I was like, okay, cool. Give me that brown natural headless. So I took the brown natural headless home. So I've got that one, guys. So at some point, you will see a video on the Lekato headless guitar. And I didn't spend a lot of time. I haven't even plugged it in or anything, but standing there looking at the NAMM show, it looks really nice. So we've got that to look forward to. Excuse me, guys. All right, what's up next? Oh, all right. Now we're getting exciting here. Look, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Look at the price tags on those guitars, guys. Take a close look at those price tags. Now, the first one, $3,126. Okay, that's not too unreasonable for, let's say, like a custom guitar or something, right? In fact, they sell those guitars on their website. The first one, the one with the splatter paint. They have a bunch of different ones, and I think each one is unique because if you go on their website, they have like a serial number for each one, and you click on it, and it shows you the different paint. So they have different colors, different designs, whatever. But after that, 11960, 43100, I thought, okay, they forgot to put the decimal. So that's $119.60, right? Or maybe the next one's $431 and so on. Makes sense, right? Excuse me. Well, I'm going to put it back on my face. I walked around all day Friday and Saturday thinking that was the case, right? When we went back Saturday, right before the end of the show, Gene was with me, Shred and Shine Guitar Works. He asked the girl, is that some kind of mistake or whatever? And the girl informed him, no, there's no mistake. That is the price. Oh, sorry, where am I? Oh, there's Gene, there's Guitar Mac. Now you guys are getting a special preview before I'm ready. Where was I? Right there. They said, those are the correct prices because those are all one-off custom guitars with special stuff on them. All those Strats with 3 single coils. And look at the one that says 43,100. It says sold. Unless Gene misunderstood. But no, look, they got the dollar sign. That's a US dollar sign. I should have taken a close-up picture. You can see it's got like a dragon thing in it. I mean, they're really cool looking. So, okay, I need to finish my EART story. So when I went there on Friday, it was another case of, I'm on number 12, got to remind myself. It was another case of I walk up, I start talking to these guys. They don't know who I am. Not a clue. Okay, well that's okay because I didn't exchange emails with them before the NAMM show. There was nothing like, hey, come and visit us. Nothing like that. And I've only done 2 videos for EART, right? It was the pink one, the Super Strat, and then the blue single cut. I've only done those 2. It's been a few months since the blue one. So, okay, not surprising. But I did again. I pulled up my phone, and I'm like, look, I did these 2 videos. And I was talking to the owner. I'm going to show you his picture in just a second. An older guy. He didn't speak a word of English. So somebody had to translate, and he was just like, oh, okay, yeah, very nice. Okay, thank you. And then that was it. And then I left. And then I didn't go back and talk to them on Friday. And then I waited until the end of the day Saturday, where it's like 30 minutes of the show left. I'm walking around with Gene, and I go, Gene, I was thinking about walking over there and asking them to give me the splatter paint, the one that was like $3,000. If it's not sold already, I thought, I'm going to go over there and say, why don't you let me take it so I can do a video on it? And then I had kind of decided, like, nah, I'm not going to do it. They're never going to give that to me. I was like, nah, I'm probably not going to do that. And then I was like, you know what? The heck with it. Let's go over there and see if they're busy or not. So I went over there. I think the owner remembered me from the day before. We got somebody to translate. That's when Gene was asking about the prices on the guitars. And I tell them, hey, that one's not sold, so why don't you let me take that one? And to my surprise, he said yes. And he was very happy about it. He was like, yes, you can take it. And like they were excited about the prospect of me taking that guitar and then doing a video on it later. And that's the owner right there, guys. He wanted to take a picture with me. So we took this photo. He took him with his camera too. And he was a super nice guy, very nice. And that's extremely generous of them to let me just take that guitar. You know, priced at over $3,000. So, and by the way, oh, I got it right here. I'll show it to you guys. This guitar is awesome. Let me turn it back on me. I'm on number 13. All right, check it out. There it is. I mean, the webcam doesn't do it justice. It looked better in the picture. The colors are very vibrant. It's set up like immaculately, plays like butter, great neck, great frets, pickups sound good. Painted headstock to match the body. Very cool. 24 frets. So yeah, very, very happy that they let me go home with this. Like, wow. And he even said, like, you know, through a translator again, next year, maybe if we have a bigger booth and there's like maybe a spot where like you could play the guitar, we would like to invite you to perform at our booth next year. I was like, wow, okay. So he was like really into it. So that was a pretty big highlight for me, guys. Pretty big highlight. All right, moving on to the next picture. Oh, we already saw that one. Next picture. There he is again. I accidentally showed that to you guys a few minutes ago. None other than Guitar Max. And yeah, we met up on Friday for a few minutes, and we met up on Saturday for a few minutes. And we had a nice chat about a lot of different things, talking about, you know, of course, guitars and stuff going on at the NAMM show and whatever. And he's very excited because he's going, I don't know if you guys have heard him talking about it on his YouTube channel. He's going to this big guitar, I don't know what I should call it, like a kind of a, like a, anyway, he's going to be there along with a bunch of other like famous guitar players, and they're going to be doing like jam sessions and lessons, and it's an event. You have to buy tickets to go to it. It's in Austria, not Australia, Austria. So the organizers of the event, they have, you know, they've invited him to go. So he is an invited guest. He's not going there. He's not buying a ticket. You know what I mean? And he'll probably be like emceeing a lot of events. And I said, are you taking a guitar? Yes, he's taking a guitar. So he plans on playing guitar there. So that's very exciting for Max. And then we talked about various other things. And it's always good to see Max. He's a great guy. Enjoy chatting with him. And as far as like, when's our next collab? I really don't know, guys. It's whenever Max decides he wants to do one. So I'm always up for that. So good to see Max again. And yes, I was jealous of his hair, as always. Okay, moving on. There he is. That's Gene. That is Shred and Shine Guitar Works. Also, New Mexico Saint, which he used to use. Now he's Shred and Shine Guitar Works. By the way, guys, Shred and Shine Guitar Works is not just his YouTube name. It's also a website. If you go to shredandshineguitarworks.com, I think that's it. Is that it, Gene? Or you could just Google Shred and Shine Guitar Works. He has a business. He's got a whole bunch of guitars for sale. Like cool stuff, new stuff, nice guitars. So go and check out his website. But anyway, Gene is a longtime friend of the channel. You know, always very supportive of my videos and stuff. And he's a member, and he's got 2 of my Lekato guitars. And this was our first chance to meet up in person. You know, we communicated a lot, like over the internet, you know, emails, messages, stuff like that. But we never met in person before. So he was able to come to the NAMM show. And this was his first time coming to the NAMM show. So very exciting for him. And we met up and we hung out a bunch. And Gene bought some guitars at the NAMM show. And we had a great time. And then I'm hoping he'll be able to go again next year and we can hang out some more. And yes, Gene also has an epic beard. Although he didn't put his beard on my head the way Dave did. So I figured I'd already had Dave's beard on my head, so I didn't need another one. All right, check it out, guys. Tell me in the comments, who are those two guys? Anybody know who that is? They were jamming at the Ernie Ball booth. Who is that? Who is that? Come on. Who's on the left? Who's on the right? Who's on first? Retro Puffer, you got it. That's Paul Gilbert on the right. One of my two all-time favorite guitar players, Paul Gilbert and George Lynch. Who's on the left? Superjet, you got it. Steve Morse. So Paul was jamming there at the Ernie Ball booth. And yeah, Paul's looking a little old these days. I mean, come on. You can't be 18 years old forever. We all get older. That's just the way it is. And anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So at that point right there, when I took the picture, it was Paul jamming with Steve Morse. And then another time, he was there jamming with Blues Saraceno. Anybody remember who Blues Saraceno was? Guitar player? By the way, you can find videos of all these jams on YouTube. If you want to hear them jamming, just look for it on YouTube. They're all over the place. All right, moving on. Okay, this was at the Enya booth. This is Allison from the Enya booth, and she is holding the Cyber G. I think that's what they called it. Cyber G. Now, they really wanted me to do a video on this. And I'd already told them, like, no, it's not. That's not a guitar. It doesn't even have any strings. I really don't want to do a video on that. And then before the NAMM show, they were sending me emails saying, are you going to be at the NAMM show? Please come to our booth. And our representative wants to tell you about the Cyber G. And I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went, and I really didn't let her tell me anything about it. I basically I said, look, I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time. I'm not really interested in that. I don't really want to do a video on that. I don't think it would appeal to my viewers, you guys, right? That's maybe for, I don't know who that's for. Kids, younger people. But anyway, I was like, well, you know, we can take a picture with it. So she ended up posing for a picture with me holding the Cyber G. But before that, I was talking to another guy from the company. And he was telling me about, you know, all their, like, they do have, of course, as you guys know, they've got the carbon fiber guitars with actual strings on them, with the built-in effects and the built-in speaker and all that. So he was kind of like updating me on the latest models and stuff that they were doing. And he told me a whole bunch of stuff. I already forgot most of what he told me. Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so here we are back in the boutique. Back in the boutique builder area. These are from a builder called Sully Guitars. S-U-L-L-Y. And you can see they've got some like really cool metal, pointy, you know, 80s looking guitars. Does anybody recognize the second one from the right? Anybody know what that second one from the right is? Anybody know what that second guitar from the right is? I mean, it's a copy. He made a copy of a kind of famous guitar from like back in the 80s. A very famous guitar player had that as a signature. You got it, Clutch. That was the Ace Frehley Washburn signature guitar. Remember that? And it had the Wonder Bar on it. Remember that? Yeah. So Sully made his version. His version has a hardtail bridge on it. Yeah, I'll bet like most of you guys remember that, right? Because I remember seeing all the ads in the guitar magazines. And I don't know if Ace even ever really played it. He's a Gibson guy, Les Paul, right? Okay, moving on. Now we move on to the Leo Jaymz booth. Oh, yeah, Brian, let me go back. The one in the middle, that is a copy of the one that was stolen last year. They never got it back. So he made another one and brought it to the NAMM show. Okay, moving on. Leo Jaymz booth. So he brought some acoustic guitars. He was kind of like bummed that he wasn't really getting any interest in the acoustic guitars. And I basically told him, I said, Leo, don't make acoustic guitars. You have to ship them in a bigger box. It's more expensive for the shipping, easier to get damaged because they're so fragile, and nobody wants to buy them. I said, just do the electric guitars and the basses. And he said, yeah, you're right. Okay. So I don't think he's going to do acoustics anymore. Here's another shot. You can see some of the guitars that were there. They got a Solace Max right there, and then some of the other new Leo Jaymz models, a 7-string there. Another shot. Check out that acoustic bass. And look, the purple one in the middle, that's the same model of purple one that I did that was in my video this week. And that telly, that deluxe telly with the epoxy, that I really like the way that one looks. And then look at that bass guitar. The finish on that bass guitar reminds me of the custom guitar that I brought home from Fesley last year. You guys remember that Fesley guitar? Kind of had those similar colors. And that is Leo, none other than Leo himself and his wife. And they are both just incredibly nice, great people. And earlier in the week, I took them to dinner on Tuesday of that week. We went out to dinner and had a nice meal and nice conversation and stuff. So good time with Leo. Always good to see Leo. All right. Who's that, guys? Who's that? Who is that? Come on. Name him in the chat. You know who it is. At this time, Rick, I don't know if there are going to be any new Solace Max models because the current one needs to sell more. You know, I don't know how many he's sold, but if it doesn't sell, like, you know, it's not like a hot seller, I don't know if he's gonna make more. He wants to, but he didn't tell me definitively if he's going to or not, so I don't know. Yes, that is Nuno Betancourt. That is Nuno Betancourt. Does anybody know who the guy in the red hat is? The guy that Nuno is looking at. He's also a famous guitar player. Anybody know who it is? Kind of hard to tell because you can't really see his face. But as I was standing there, by the way, there was tons of people standing around Nuno. Everybody kept asking, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? I was just trying to get a picture of him, like looking in my direction. I wasn't asking for a picture with him. Anybody know who the guy in the red hat is? CC, you got it. That is Andy Jaymz, guitar player Andy Jaymz, who plays with Five Finger Death Punch. He's also a solo artist. Incredible guitar player. Yeah, Andy Jaymz. Andy Jaymz, my cousin. You know, the first time I saw Andy Jaymz at the NAMM show several years ago, this was before he was in Five Finger Death Punch, and he performed at the ESP booth, and then he was selling his CDs. So I bought his CD, and then you give him $10, and then he autographs the CD to you. And I go, Andy, hey, I'm your cousin. And he looks at my badge, and he looks at me, and then he just looked down. Didn't even crack a smile. I was like, whoa, tough crowd. Anyway, moving on. Check this out. It's a good thing Jamie's not here because this might bother her. But it's not a real skeleton. I'm sure that's fake. It looks like a horse skeleton, right? That's at the Third Man Hardware booth. Why they had that there, I have no idea. But it was an attention getter. That's for sure. A lot of cool stuff as you're walking around. I mean, I could have taken 1,000 pictures, guys, but I just didn't want to spend my whole time walking around taking pictures. Here was another booth where they had like this referee in the middle, and then like guys playing guitar around him, like in a circle, and he's up there and he's like blowing the whistle and, you know, calling penalty and foul and I don't know, something like that. It was kind of funny. Yes, it's a horse with no name. You got it. All right, who's that on the left? Looking a little older than he was in the 80s, that's for sure. Metal Dude was not at the NAMM show. He couldn't get a badge. He didn't pass the security clearance. Who knows who that is, guys? If you look behind him on the wall, you'll know who it is. That is Reb Beach from Winger and Whitesnake. That is Reb Beach. He was at the Shure booth playing the guitar and taking pictures and signing autographs and stuff. I didn't talk to him or anything, just snapped a quick pic, but I have talked to him in the past and he was always a really cool guy. All right, this is Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete is basically he's connected to Leo Jaymz. So I first saw him probably 2 years ago, probably the first time I met Leo. He was always at the Leo Jaymz booth, and he's usually playing guitar at the Leo booth, performing. His real name is Ben, and I don't know if you guys know this. Some of you do. Leo Jaymz opened a music store in the Chicago area. So he's got a physical store now where you can go in and buy his guitars and everything. And Ben is the one running the store. He and his wife. They run the store that's near Chicago. And he's always at the NAMM show, and he plays Leo Jaymz guitars, of course, and very cool guy, very good guitar player. So Benjamin, aka Pistol Pete. Alrighty, so this is not anybody famous, so don't rack your brain trying to figure out who that is. Wait a minute, what am I saying? The guy on the right is famous. The Bald Shredder, he's super famous. But the other guy, so what happened here, guys, is I'm just walking the floor, and by the way, this place is humongous. You have no idea how big it is unless you go. And Gene, that's what Gene said to me, because remember, this is his first time going. He's like, I can't believe how big this place is. I had no idea. So anyway, I'm walking, and a couple of guys stopped me. And one guy, not this guy, but the guy who's taking the picture, he knew who I was. He recognized me. I had talked to him like 2 years ago. And so we'd already been in touch. I didn't see him last year. And then he sees me here on that day. That was on Saturday. And he's with this guy. And he's like, hey, check out this. Show him the guitar. So he had that in a gig bag. He whips it out of the gig bag and he's like, this is a custom guitar. He lives in Japan. He makes custom guitars in Japan. And the other guy, his name is Nino. He's like, we're going to make you a custom guitar. We'll let you design it. We'll make you a custom guitar, and then we'll send it to you, and you do a video on it and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. Here's my card. Get a hold of me. But just as a little point of reference, guys, he had talked about the same thing 2 years ago with another guy, a different guy. And that it never happened. It just kind of fell through. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens. If it does, cool. Very exciting. And then I was telling the guy that I'm in the picture with there, I go, hey, I used to live in Japan, because he lives in Japan, as I just said. I go, I used to live in Japan. Like back in 2002. I was there for like 2 years teaching English. So he's currently there making guitars. So we'll see if anything comes of that, hopefully. And here is just a shot of the floor. This is just one like corner section of one of the rooms. There are 4 big rooms, each room bigger than a football field. It's massive. So this is just a general shot of, you get an idea of what it looks like inside there. But the place is huge. I walked around all day for 2 days, and there are certain people that I know were there because I've seen their pictures on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, whatever, pictures of them being at the NAMM show. Famous people, some of them. I walked around solid for 2 days, And there's a whole bunch of them I never saw. I never passed by. Never, you know, like, oh, there's so-and-so. That's how big this place is. You can be there for 2 full days and never see certain people. It's crazy. That happens every year, by the way. Every year. There's people, and I go, I can't believe I didn't see that person. Not just one, several. Okay, these are some, is it Jaymz Tyler? Is that the name? Something Tyler. And these are some of the guitars that they had displayed. I took a picture because I thought they looked really cool. Hey, look, it's me and Leo Jaymz again. Check out my t-shirt. Tone knob? We don't need no stinking tone knobs. The ball shredder. I gave one to Leo and I said, Leo, you have to wear it on Saturday. I'm going to wear mine on Saturday. You wear yours on Saturday. So he wore it on Saturday. He was a good sport. Was Geezer Butler there? I don't know. If he was, I didn't see him. Okay, Jet guitars, guys. Remember I did the video on Jet guitars? Because I met them last year, right? I talked to them at the NAMM show last year, and that's why they ended up sending me a Jet guitar. Well, guess what? The same guy was there again this year, and this time I said, hey, you got the company to send me a Jet guitar. Now, why don't you work your magic again and get them to send me the Spira guitar? Because it's the same company. Jet Guitars and Spira, it's the same company. So, hopefully that happens. We'll see. We'll see. You know, he said like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. So that would be great. I would love to get like one of those, like maybe the blue one over here, something like that. You know, that's my style right there. Sort of the Dinky, 24 frets, 2 humbuckers, reverse headstock, hardtail bridge, all that. But I would take any one of those. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see if I get an email hearing from them in the near future. This was one corner of the orange amps booth. I thought that looked really cool with the Union Jack back there. This was just kind of a random booth. I thought they had some cool looking guitars. It's like, I don't even remember what the name was. It was like a name I didn't even recognize. Okay, guys, who's that? Who's that standing back there looking at his phone? Metal Mark, I saw Bernth. Yes, Bernth was there performing with that bass player, Charles something with the red hair, I think. Yeah, I saw them performing at a booth. Who's in the back there, guys? This guy had the longest line of anybody I saw. People waiting to meet him. People were lined up over an hour early. Yes, indeed, that is Corey Feldman. That is Corey Feldman. I just walked by and took a picture. There's no way I was going to stand in that line for 2 hours waiting to meet him. Plus, I've already met Corey Feldman at the NAMM show, like 10 years ago. And I waited like 1 minute to meet him. And I took a picture with him. He was really cool, nice guy. I like Corey Feldman. But no, I wasn't going to wait in line again. I already met the man. But yeah, he was there signing autographs. I think he even performed later on from the pictures that I saw later. Okay, this was just some random person performing. I saw a lot of people performing here and there. Men, women, kids. I mean, just all kinds of people shredding it up at these various booths. You know, not famous people, but just whoever. I don't know who she was. And this is at the S.I.T strings booth. So she was playing the bass guitar. She was also talking about it. And you guys know I use S.I.T strings now. So, and I did talk to them for a little bit. They were cool, again, as usual. Yes, Dave, keep practicing. Keep practicing, and someday you can be as good as Corey Feldman, if you're lucky. And this is the last picture, guys. Chris Holmes, ex-Wasp guitar player, Chris Holmes. And he was cool. I had to wait a little while because he was talking to somebody and I didn't want to interrupt him. And then when he was done talking to the person, I asked if he would take a picture with me, and he did. That's not ZZ Top. That's Chris Holmes. And that's my last picture, guys. So let me see if there's anything else that I need to tell you guys about the NAMM show. So let's see. I got my list here. Yes, talked about that. Who else did I see? Famous people that I saw that I didn't have a picture of. Dweezil Zappa. Dweezil Zappa was there. Phil X, Bon Jovi guitar player, Phil X. Billy Sheehan. Nita Strauss, you know, from Alice Cooper. Alex Skolnick from Testament. Among others. Those are the ones that I could remember that I jotted down. Yeah, I saw Phil X all over the place. I must have seen him like a dozen times. Like, it's so weird. Remember I said sometimes you walk around and there's people that you know were there, but you never see them. And then there's other people that you see over and over and over and over. So I saw Phil X all over the place. It's crazy. I can't remember. Oh, Dave Ellefson. Yes, I did see Dave Ellefson. Yeah, I forgot to put him on my list. And Doug Aldrich. Yes, he was there. Yes. Yes. And for those of you wondering, yes, I did go and talk to Rob Chapman at Chapman Guitars. I did. I did not say anything to them about sending me a guitar. I simply went up and said, "Greetings, Rob Chapman," and let him know that I enjoyed some of the videos that he's put on his YouTube channel, and asked him if he had enough barbecue to eat, because he's always talking about in his videos how he comes to America and eats barbecue. And that was it. And I was like, all right, thanks, take care. And then he was talking to somebody else. He always had like people talking to him. Every time I would go by the booth, he was talking to somebody. And I didn't want to go over there and stand there and look like I'm waiting to talk to him. So finally saw an opening, went over. So just said, hi, how you doing? That's it. And then moved on. So I don't know if Chapman will ever want to, send me a guitar to do a video, but whatever. If they do, great. If they don't, that's okay. I did not see Phil Collin. I know he was there. Maybe he was there on Thursday. But if he was there, he would have been in the Jackson booth, and Jackson is Fender. And Fender is closed, just like last year. You can only go in there like if your name's on the list. And guess what, guys? My name's not on the list. So I didn't even bother going to where Fender was and Gibson and ESP, because they are all closed. You have to be on their list. And I'm like, okay, all right. So, not even going to waste my energy going up there. So, didn't see Phil Collin, but I've met him before. Great guy. Andertons was there. Yes, I saw the guy from Andertons walking around. I did. Now, here's last little tidbit I'm going to tell you. A very nice timing, I guess, if you will. While I was talking to Guitar Max the first day, on Friday, I'm standing there talking to Max, and some guy walks up and introduces himself to Max. And guess who it was? It was the president of SBS Guitars, Steve Brown Sound, right? So wow, here's the president of SBS. And you guys know I've only done that one video on the yellow SBS that Guitar Max brought here. They've never actually sent me one. So they're talking a little bit, and then, hey, Johnny Bean. Yeah, I saw Johnny Bean at the NAMM show too. Good to see you there, Johnny. And anyway, so they're talking, and then when they were kind of done talking, I whipped out my card, and I'm like, I have a YouTube channel, I do videos too, and gave him my card. He gave me his card, and I emailed him a couple of days ago and said, hey, just reminding you, I'm the guy that was standing there with Guitar Max, and here's the link to my YouTube channel if you guys ever want me to review something. So long story short, they are going to be sending me one of their SBS guitars so that I can do a video on it. So that was very cool. Doroteo, I never saw the Vola booth. I think they had a booth there. I'm not even sure, but I never saw it. So, but I think they were there. But if they were there, I don't know where they were because I never saw it. And I walked around everywhere like a million times. So they must have been hiding somewhere. I don't know. Okay, guys, questions. Questions. We got like a few minutes left. Questions, questions, questions. By the way, check out my shirt. No mercy. All Valley. This is another Temu shirt. It's supposed to look like a Nintendo video game cartridge. Like a $3 shirt. Okay, questions, guys? Questions? Anything you want to tell me? Anything about the NAMM show? Because I know I wasn't really paying attention to the comments because I've been talking. Now's the time, guys. Or not. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment on my shirt. How's the toggle switch on the dime? So far, so good. No issues. I don't have any issues with the dime. The lock nut's all good. The bridge is good. Stays in tune. Sweep the leg. Yep. Yes, Doroteo. Very cool, right? Yeah. They're sending me... Well, I won't tell you which one they're sending me. I did not see Chill Cat Guitars there, but guess what, guys? Chill Cat Guitars has already sent me a guitar, and that video will be coming up probably a week from Monday. On Monday, it should be another Acklot video, and then the following Monday, a Les Paul from Chill Cat. Doroteo, I got this shirt on Temu. Temu. That's where I get all my cheap, cheesy shirts. Oh, how do they pronounce EART? Okay, yeah, that was a funny story. So I asked them that when I went there the first time on Friday, and the guy's translating with the owner, and the owner is trying to tell the other guy, and they're both speaking Chinese, and it was like, he kept trying to tell him, he's going, E-A-R-T, and the guy's like, whoa, E-A-R, and what it came down to, and I think Jean told me this, I think it's pronounced, it's supposed to be EART. EART. I don't know. But here I am still saying EART. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a Leo Jaymz guitar, dude. They're on Amazon, but they're going to be gone pretty soon. And they'll never be made by Leo Jaymz again. No, there was no West Creek booth. No West Creek booth. Best free giveaway. I can't even really think of any free giveaways. I got a t-shirt from X5, but that's only because I've done videos for them. Searching for Tone says it's just the initials, EART. Well, that's what the owner kept doing when he was trying to explain it to the guy. He kept going, he doesn't speak English, but he could say E-A-R-T, and he was doing it on his hand like that. But that seems kind of weird that the name of your company would be EART. Maybe I should call it EART. I don't know. Oh, you heard it on their channel. EART. Okay, so maybe it is EART. No Volgoa booth. Volgoa was there last year, and then I think the year before, but I did not see them there this year. Maybe it's an acronym. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Got 2 guitars in your trunk, Johnny Bean. All right. Eastman. I don't remember. I don't remember. Yes, Donner had a booth. I did visit the Donner booth. But like there wasn't, I mean, I've done 1,000,000 Donner videos, right? And I'm there looking around. Nobody came up and said anything to me. And I was just like, okay, all right. And then I just moved on. But they never seemed to know me at the Donner booth. Same thing last year. I was there looking around, walking around their booth. Nobody said anything to me. So I think whoever I communicate with Donner, they're never at the NAMM show. That purple guitar is a Leo Jaymz back there. It's in my video that I did this week. Look at my video from 2 days ago. You'll see that guitar and that guitar, both of them, in the same video. No, I didn't buy any guitars, but I came home with 3 free guitars. Oh yeah, totally understandable that, you know, some companies are not going to go to the NAMM show. It's very expensive. And I can completely understand where it's like, well, it's you got to weigh like the cost and the benefit. And if it's very expensive, and what are we going to get out of it by going to the NAMM show? That's why Fesley didn't go. Fesley was not there this year. They went the last 2 years, and I think they decided it's like, we're not really getting our money's worth, you know, as far as whatever. So yes, DiMarzio was there. Need to take Metal Dude next year. Yeah, I've thought about many times, like, what would happen if Metal Dude was to walk around the NAMM show for a while? I wonder if anybody would walk up and be like, "You're Metal Dude," or if he would just be completely ignored. I don't know. Would anybody recognize Metal Dude? I've always wondered about that. Court was there, yes. Court was there. But I went by their booth a couple of times. That's another company like I wanted to talk to, you know, because I've never connected with Court, never done anything with Court. But every time I went by, like, they were always like a lot of people and always talking. And so it's like, I'm not going to stand there and wait. And I don't know who to talk to, so I just kind of gave up. Did I fix the tremolo? You mean like the bar that won't tighten? No, I haven't fixed that. Was Aristides there? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Firefly doesn't have any reason to go. Yeah, Firefly really doesn't have any reason to go because they have such a dedicated fan base, if you will, right? Almost every time they put new guitars on their website, man, they sell out like that. And they sell directly from their website. They don't sell in stores. They barely put anything on Amazon, so I don't think there would be any benefit to Firefly because of their business model, the way they sell and the way they do business. Yeah, I always have a good time at NAMM also. There were several people that came up to me that, you know, recognized me from YouTube that I didn't know. You know, some of them I had met at previous NAMM shows and they said hi again. So that was really cool. I always really enjoy meeting people that they know me from YouTube and they want to say hi, and some of them wanted to take a picture with me, and so that was really cool. 6-string stinger. Yep. All right, guys. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm already over 6 o'clock, or not. I'm already 6 minutes over 8 o'clock here, and I gotta go do the rest of my night stuff and go to work tomorrow. All that fun stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed my NAMM recap. You know, I was just kidding, Dave. I actually had Dave autograph my back, and then I had it tattooed, so it's there forever. I got a six-string stanger tattooed on my back. Really? All right. I will have a new video out tomorrow, guys. New video tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Make sure you check it out. And then we'll be back on Monday with a new ACLOT video, and then Wednesday another live stream. So the train just keeps going. It never stops. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.